Well, I think just to relate to the CCS and the status of CCS today, I think that we go from a long period of research, and we are ahead of a big challenge of introducing CCS as a physical technology in the electricity supply. I think it's fair to say that this challenge is very steep. There is no plant around the world which is built with CCS today. If you're going to achieve that, a lot of efforts and a lot of political will has to take place to ensure that this technology will be available. What we do in IEA is that we work on the importance of this in particular for member governments. As you correctly say, IEA has been working on roadmaps for this. That is a product which IEA has been asked to do by the G8. There are two things. The world leaders have said, and that is based on recommendations that IEA was instrumental with, also together with a handful of key countries, to give recommendations to the world leaders on CCS and other technologies. And one high-level recommendation, there was a suite of many recommendations on what you have to do on technological and non-technological factors to accelerate this technology. And one particular recommendation that the G8 took up on as a commitment by last year was the support of the launch of the 21st large-scale CCS demonstrations by 2010. So that is a particular, if you want to look at where CCS stand today and what is the road ahead, that is a particular parameter that you could discuss. So where are we in relation to these? So there will be a report next year on the stock take for this. The roadmap says that you need to probably increase that number by a factor of 5 if the world is to progress in relation to overall ambitions, in particular for the 2 degrees target of the UNFCCC. So this is what we are up against. It's a major upscale, and currently we don't have these 20 pilots, and there are different, I think, many reasons partly for why perhaps we are here to discuss, but that is the situation currently.
Let us have a word about the demonstration projects, because when one follows the situation, the feeling the one has is that this process is not very well coordinated. The Americans just announced they would give some funds, less than expected, to the 12 US demonstration plants. Europe had the objective of 12 demos itself. So far there is 6 or 7 on the Commission shortlist. I mean, how much coordination is there between these individual efforts taken by the key countries, and what would be your sort of ideal scenario for how this effort could be organized globally?
Well, I think there are 2 dimensions here. One thing, it's going to be very important to commit the national governments. I think that the scale of the challenge imply this, and the experience we see today on CCS is that it's very country and site specific, So in fact, you would probably need an activity in each country. As for this 20, you would probably need to demonstrate CCS that it's, for instance, it's a safe way to store CCS in most of the major coal producing economies. So from that angle, it needs to be locally grounded. The question is that enough? And of course, that is where probably the collective challenge is. That is also why this timing is so critical with the global events you have coming on. Now, what we see is that there tend to be a certain disproportionate understanding of the importance of this technology. So I think what need to be achieved is a much broader recognition, for instance, of CCS in the Kyoto mechanisms. There might probably also need international funding mechanisms. In particular, you see that towards the developing countries. Today, the Chinese car fleet is bigger than the US, and we see that emissions in the non-OECD economies are now higher than in the OECD. And that part of the world will drive the energy balance ahead. But at the same time, we see that they don't, perhaps between 1.5 and 2 billion people are without access of even the most basic energy services today, whereas CCS includes an cost penalty on electricity. So this equation needs some surgery on the international level, and I think that is also something which needs to be solved.